To get started on this exercise, you should have downloaded the Lesson 13 exercise folder. You can double-click on the Start InDesign document, and when it asks you to update the modified links, choose Don't Update the Links. We'll fix those later on. Also at this time, if you need to, you can go up to View, go down to your display performance, and make sure you're working on a high-quality display. Before we get started, let's go ahead and go to File, and let's do a Save As, and we'll save this inside the 13 folder, and let's rename it Press. We'll hit Save. Now let's begin. Now this exercise is all about getting your files ready for pre-press production. The first thing we want to do is to open up our pre-flight panel. Let's go up to Window, down to Output, and choose Pre-Flight. This will open up the pre-flight panel that checks for any errors or issues or problems. Make sure it's checked on and your profile is the basic working profile. From here you can see there are two basic errors that are showing up. If you open up the links and the modified links, you can see all of the issues for the links that may be happening in this folder. If you open up the text, you can see there's some overset text on text frame for page 3. Going back to the links, you can open up the modified links and click on the page number for any one of these, like page 2, and you'll go to that particular picture and you can see that it's been missing, or in this case it's been modified. Also, at the bottom of your pre-flight panel, you can open the info and it'll expressly state what the problem is and how to fix it. So in our case, with the lily or the ladybug one selected, there we go, we can double click on the modified link and you can see how it automatically updates that link and it's taken away from the links problem over here. Now, if you go to the links panel, let's open it back up, you can open this up and see all of the images that are linked, and you can see there's a lot of them that have been modified or may be missing. If you wanted to quickly update all of these modified links, you can hold down the Option key or the Alt key if you're on a Windows and click the Update Links, and that will automatically get all of those and update each one. Now with this done, you can go back to the pre-flight window and see there's only the text error remaining. In this case, let's click on the number 3 to take us where it is, and you can see how it's highlighted here. And you can see that there's a little plus sign. This simply means we need to have some more room, so let's click on the bottom edge of this and drag it down until the plus sign disappears. As soon as it does, you can see there's no more errors inside of our pre-flight panel. Now, if your work is intended to go to a commercial printer, they're going to print this by separating it into different color plates. We can see in our swatches panel that there is, in addition to the CMYK values, a variety of different colors and spot colors that are also being used. In order to view these plates, let's go to our Pages panel and double click on page 1, and let's zoom out. And we'll scroll down till we can see pages 2 and 3 side by side. So there it is set here. I'm going to turn off my pre-flight panel for now and my Pages panel. To view what each plate would look like, we can go into Separations mode by going to Window, down to Output, and choose Separations Preview. This will show you what it looks like for each individual color plate. Set the viewer to be in Separations, then you can uncheck the CMYK, and we can see it for each individual color. You can see here's all the different CMYK values, and in this case, it's also getting the 2 spot color values. You can turn those on and off. If it's just one color like dark yellow, you can see the yellow only shows up here, versus if it was just bright green, you can see there's no bright green on this one. Take some time and turn on and off each individual layer until you can see how each color tends to mix one with the other. Now let's turn on all of CMYK values and let's turn off the black value. Notice that as we turn on and off the black value, we can still see some of the text on this plate. Now the intention is every time that we print the text, we only want to use just black. Check out this page. When I turn it off, all the black text is turned off. So we need to figure out why there are some colors being printed on this page and not just solid black by itself. To investigate this, let's grab our Type tool and let's highlight the text on the right side, just this first paragraph. If we open up our paragraph styles by going to Type, Paragraph Styles, you can see we used a paragraph style of body copy with no indent. However, if we select the stuff on the left on this side, you can see this was just using a basic paragraph style. This means there's two different color modes or two different colors or styles used for each. We need to make them consistent. So we're simply going to highlight this text and choose Body Copy, No Indent to automatically format it. With this done, now we can turn off the black text and you can see that it's printing normally the way the Lord intended. With separations view done, we can turn this back off and go back into normal mode. Speaking of color, another thing we can do is to clean up the swatches panel. You can see in the swatches panel there are tons of colors that got created. We want to get rid of any unnecessary colors that may not have been used. To do this, let's make sure nothing is selected on our page by clicking off on a blank area. Also, make sure in your swatches panel that the fill color is set to none and the stroke color is also set to none. To select all the unused ones, click on the Layer Options, choose Select Unused Colors. You can see how they're all highlighted, and then with one click on the trash can, we can delete those away. The remaining colors are all used somewhere within our design. Now, if you have two colors that are very similar to one another, and you only want to just use the one, let's delete away the other. With this CMYK blue selected, let's click on the trash can and delete it away. And it's going to ask us to replace this blue with another blue or some other color. So in this case, let's choose a define swatch and let's choose the blue bright. When we say OK, it erases it away and replaces every instance with the bright blue. Another thing you may want to check for is the use of spot colors. You can see where this brightest green has a spot of green, which is not a CMYK value. So we're going to select this bright green and delete it away. And we're going to change it to be used the green brightest, which you can see is an actual processed CMYK color. When we say OK, it takes care of those. A final thing we may want to do is to find out if there are any other colors that are in this file that were not saved as swatches. These may be colors that you picked at random from the color picker or you used your eyedropper tool, but you didn't create a swatch for. If we go to the swatch options, we can tell it to add unnamed colors. This will automatically add any colors that were picked from here that weren't previously saved. You can also fix colors by finding colors and replacing them from your swatches. If we go to the color that's just below the black, this is a CMYK that has a mixture of all different colors that forms a rich dark black. If we wanted to find the use of it, we can go to the options and choose Find This Color. This is going to open up the Find and Change dialog box, and in this case it's looking for this color, and we want to change any value of this color to be just a solid black. So choose Change Color from here. When we do Find Next, you can see that this grasshopper is using that particular color. If we do Change, it may not look like it, but now it's been changed over to just a solid black. You can hit Change All, and it'll find all instances of there. Once we're done, we can hit Done. If you want to test this to make sure that that has been changed over, we can again open up our Output, Separations Preview. We can turn on Separations, and we can turn on and off just the black plate, and you can see now that that grasshopper is turned off from there. Since we're no longer using this one, you can deselect it. You can actually go to Choose or Select all of the unused one. So indeed, that one's not being used, and we can delete it away safely. Now, sometimes some of the colors that we have in our document don't come from InDesign, but come from the actual graphics themselves. For example, we can see there's a dark yellow spot color that's being used somewhere in your design. To find it, once again, let's go up to your options and choose Find This Color. With it selected, simply choose Find Next, and you can see that it's coming from this graphic. Now this graphic is an Illustrator file. We'll hit Done. To change the color from spot color to a processed CMYK color, we could open up this graphic in Adobe Illustrator and change it there, or we can use InDesign's Ink Manager. Once again, let's go to Window, Output, and open up our Separations preview. If we turn on Separations, you can see the dark yellow, if we turn off all the others, is this particular part of the flower. And that's the only thing that's printing to this. So in order to turn on our Ink Manager to convert this to a CMYK value, go to the Separations preview. Let's open up the Ink Manager dialog box. From here at the very bottom, you can tell to convert all of the spot colors to process colors. You can see up here that it's now going to be converted to there. When we say OK, it disappears from our view, and we no longer have that spot color, and we can turn on all of the others to be able to see what it looks like in CMYK separations. Let's turn it off once again. Now I do want to point out that in your swatches panel, you still have that dark yellow as a spot color swatch. It's just once it goes to print, it'll automatically be converted to a process color. Let's close out our separations preview and also our swatches and any other little extra things. We'll zoom back out so we can see everything from here. Now, you know that when you view this, we're viewing it in normal editing mode. We can always swap over our view down to different screen modes, such as normal or preview. This preview mode will show what it looks like once it's printed. You can also find these down at the very bottom left-hand corner by clicking on this icon and holding. The bleed setting will show you what it looks like past the bleed edge, and the slug setting will also show you what it looks like at the very bottom portion and top portion once it's printed too. From here, let's go back to normal mode to see everything normally. We'll go up to File and Save, and let's continue on.